that being focused. Alright, so I remember Man-nyy, he was actually texting in the group, and he was asking us, for some advice on what are some other good things we should teach. And I remember telling him like, yo, a story, teaching people how to tell their story is so important because every single person you see back there, you can ask them personally. They probably shared their story over 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Because they share their story on every obstacle, at every event, on every three-way, every chance that they get to talk to somebody. You're always sharing your story, but it's something that you gotta know how to share because, like Man-nyy said, there's an art to it. So I started to study my story because I would get on a lot of calls and I would do these op calls, and when I would ask my 6-question close, I would always ask, hey, what did you like best? And everybody always told me, your story. Your story was never the product, it was never the trading, it was never the goal lives, it was always my story. So what I noticed about my story and the advice that I got from a lot of people was that it was always very relatable. Everybody in the room always related with my story, and I'll go into it a little bit here in a few, but I want you guys to understand that, especially when you come into this in the beginning, you're going to have to teach other people to tell their story, especially once, for example, somebody goes P150 in my organization, for example, right? I'm going to have them open up a call for me and tell their story, but most people, they just hit P150 for the first time, and you ask them to open up a call to tell their story. They don't even know how to really tell it because it's really their first time saying it. So there's a structure to teaching people how to tell their stories, and it's broken down into 6 different steps. Okay, so I'm going to give it to you guys right now. All right, then we're going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. We'll play some music. I want everybody to write down their story on each point, right, whatever I cover with you guys. And then we're going to have people come up here, all right, and you guys are going to come up here and share your story for 1 or 2 minutes because the stories that you guys shared earlier were more personable, mastermind, like let's get deep, let's really understand it. But like Man-nyy said, we can't have those certain stories, when you're going to open up certain events for an op call. Like these are the ones that you got to get to it, tell your story really quick, relate, and pass it off to the next one because we have to be on a certain time crunch. So the story that I'm teaching you guys how to do right now are the ones that you're going to be doing on op calls, the ones that you're going to be doing at events, the ones that you're going to be doing in certain places that is more quick to it, all right? So first step, number 1, is the background, all right? Your background consists of your name, your age, the city, and if you want to mention what school you're in or what school you went to, you can do that as well. So for example, my background, I usually say my name is Neno. I'm 27 years old, born and raised in New York City, and I graduated from St. John's University. That's my background, okay? So everybody understand that? Yep. Okay, that's your background, number 1, right? Then you go into the next step, which is number 2, right? Which is what were you doing before this business? Okay, you always want to make people aware of what you were doing before this business because understand, before you can take someone where you want to go, you got to start where they are. Okay, so you always want to tell people, where were you before you joined this business? Okay, were you working a job? Were you a mother? Were you in school? What were you doing before this business? That's always something very important for you to mention in your story, all right? Super important. That's number 2. Okay, number 3 is if you have a rock bottom story, it's good to have that in your story. All right, what I mean by rock bottom is that it's like that turning point. What was that turning point in your life? Was it when you lost that job? Was it when you lost that family member, right? I'm sure for Brianna was when she came out of jail from getting that DWI and finding out that her father had passed away. That was that turning point for her. She can mention that, but she doesn't have to get as deep into it. She can just mention that was the turning point for her in her story. And a lot of people, when you start to share that in events and opportunity calls, those are the moments that people like wake up like, oh my God, it's crazy that she went through that. I can relate with that. Oh wow, this happened to her. Yo, I also lost my job. I also this. And these are the moments that you want to share with people that can really touch them when you're sharing your story. Because, for example, my rock bottom story was when, I was literally 2 weeks away from becoming a professional baseball player. And on the last game of the season, I hurt my shoulder. And everything I had worked for 15 years of my life was just taken away in a one pitch, one throw. That's it. It was all gone. Everything I worked for. It's like being at the top of the mountain and then being shot down to the bottom of it with no chance of getting back up. So that was my rock bottom story. That was that turning point for me. Okay, so if you have something like that in your story, mention it, because a lot of people are going to feel that. A lot of people are going to empathize for you, because the fact that you went through that and now you're going to go into what you're doing is going to show strength. It's going to show them inspiration. Like, wow, she went through that, he went through that, but look at what he's doing. Look at how he's changing his life. People are going to want to go through that, because sometimes majority of people that jump on our op calls come to these events, they're broken. They're going through things, right? And a lot of them, they're at rock bottom. That's why one of my favorite lines when I share my story is, at rock bottom comes your biggest blessing. Because a lot of people I know at these events, they're at rock bottom. Okay? And I remember when I went to an event, I was at rock bottom. And this was my biggest blessing. Right? Raise your hand if this is your biggest blessing. Okay? This is one of our biggest blessings, so you want to let people know that, all right? So if you have a rock bottom story, share it. If you don't, then just keep it pushing, right? Number 4. Talk to people about your why and why you joined, right? Why did you join this business? Okay? Why did you join this business? All right? Because now that you shared your rock bottom story, I always tell people, hey, look, I got introduced to this business in 2017 by one of my brothers. His name is Darwin. And the reason why I joined this business is because I wanted to change for myself. I wanted to put myself in a position where I can help my mom, my dad. All right, I wanted to be able to live a life of financial abundance and freedom. And I start to explain to people why I joined this platform. Okay, and remember, your why, it's very important that you make the why relatable. Okay, think about the things that people go through. Think about the things that you're going through that can relate to somebody in the room when sharing your why. Specifically, because remember, the whole point of the story is for you to be relatable. Once you're relatable, they feel good that, damn, he went through that, she went through that, and that's the reason why they joined the business. I relate with that. If they're doing it, I can do it. The reason why I get so many people to enroll in my business is because when I share my story with them, okay, they see that I did it. They're like, yo, if Neno did it, I can 100% do it. I'm pretty sure that I can close people just based off of my story. I don't even have to share the presentation with them. Okay, because I make the story so relatable. Okay, and I can dive deeper into it, but I always make sure that I always stay relatable. Okay, because that's the key. So you tell them why you joined, and remember, always make it relatable with the why. Now, number 5 is mention your accomplishments in the business. Okay, and if you yet to have none, mention your experiences. Talk about your experiences. I know sometimes, we ask people to share their accomplishments, but they've only, hit P150 and they haven't, they just got their 2 and 3 and you got some up and coming leaders. But tell them to mention their experiences. Tell them how important it is that they mention what they've, been able to live so far being in this business. They've gone to events. Okay, they've experienced masterminds. Okay, they see how beautiful the community is within your chats, and tell them to talk about those experiences, how much they've been able to make, and how the fact that they have apps that can send them, notifications to their phones to make them money. Tell them to speak about those experiences, the things that somebody that's new can come in can relate with right away. Because sometimes, like I said, somebody doesn't have no real accomplishments yet. Okay? For me, I've been in the business now for 4 years and some change. So yes, I hit Chairman 25. Yes, I've created success stories and I have a podcast and all these things. But when I was 3 months into the business, I barely had any accomplishments. So all I could do is talk about my experiences. Yo, I'm so grateful that I'm surrounded around, motivated people that are always inspiring me and pushing me to become better. I'm learning every single day. I have access to educators that, are teaching me the strategies and the techniques for me to become a profitable trader. I'm learning about crypto. I'm just so excited as to where I'm at in my life right now. Instead of you mentioning all these accomplishments that you don't have yet, okay, mention how great of experiences you've had yet. All right, and that's also very important. And this is something that you guys want to teach your people, because when somebody, like the moment, let's say I launch somebody, they hit P150 and I want them to open up a call for me, or we're going to get on a flyer together and we're going to launch their business, I'm going to have them go up there and they're going to tell their story and they're going to edify me. I need to be able to have a way to teach them how to tell their story. Okay, because I'm not just going to have them go up there and tell a random story that they've never told before. No, I'm going to teach it to you. Me, I do everything very structured. All the skills, I have a structure to them, a step-by-step, because like they always say, Matt Rose always says it, it's not about what you can do, it's about what you can teach. And what you teach leads to what? Duplication. And duplication leads to momentum. Okay, so if you don't have things that can duplicate, it's not going to work, all right? I know I can go up there and share a fire story, okay, that I can teach. That I can do. Only Neno story, right? Brianna has an incredible story. Man-nyy has an incredible story. Lowe's, Millie, Man-nyy, all these leaders have incredible stories, but they can't teach somebody how to tell their own story. Okay, bless you, bro. So you got to be able to have a structure on how to teach people how to do that. So number 5 was accomplishments. If you have none, it's share your experiences, okay? And then number 6 is the goal, the mission, long term. What is it that you see yourself doing with this business? What do you want to accomplish? You want to help your family. You want to travel the world. You want to create success stories for other people. That's what it's about. Share a little bit about what your vision is and what you plan on doing with this business. A lot of people want to see that you have depth of vision. That's important. They want to know that they're following somebody that's going places. Okay, so if you tell them a little bit about, look, I've joined this business, so on and so forth. These are some of my accomplishments / experiences, but this is what I'm going to do over the next year. This is my goal for 2022. I want to create 10 six-figure earners. Okay, I want to be able to accomplish massive success. Right? One of my goals for 2022 is to create 10 chairmen. Okay? If you're on my team, really quick, stand up. If you're on my team here. Look at where they're sitting too. But it's because I made that a goal. And I want y'all all to know, everyone here standing, every single one of you guys on my team, that I appreciate you guys so much for making the sacrifices, for everything that you guys do behind closed doors that nobody sees, like all the calls, all the trainings, all the 3-ways, all the books, the morning routines, everything that you guys do. I truly, truly appreciate it. So can we all give them a round of applause? I do that because that's my goal. And I know that if my goal is to create 10 chairman 10 in my organization, I knew how important it was for them to be here. You can ask Brianna, actually. It's so funny. She asked me, I think last week, she was like, yo, should I go? I was like, Brianna, you can't miss it for nothing in the world. For nothing in the world. There's no excuses. You cannot miss coming to this. She's like, okay, I'm going to buy my flight. She bought her flight. When was it? The same day. And she came from Mexico. But she was contemplating whether she should come or not. Look, if she didn't come, she wouldn't have the chance to share that beautiful story with all of us. So it's important that you guys understand that. Make sure that the actions that you're taking match the goals that you want to accomplish. I make sure that my team is at these events. No excuses. KD, Katie, Marcy, Jasmine, all of these individuals, great people that are here. Chelsea, I just had a great conversation with her on Wednesday. She was going through some family stuff. Chelsea, we gotta be there. No excuses. No excuses. You gotta call your people up and let them know. And trust me, there was other people that I called that they were going through things that couldn't be here, but I did my best to make sure that they were here. I do the same thing with that convention in March. That's all I talk about on every call, every opportunity. I know how important these events are. I was just telling Man-nyy this. I'm like, bro, you know why I love this event so much? It's because everybody comes here and everybody has a chance to get uncomfortable. And usually when we go to events, we just have to sit, take notes, and we go about our way. Here, people are forced to step out of their comfort zone. People are forced to show if they've really been putting in the work or not. Okay, and that's why these events are so powerful. And I can't wait for this to be one day just my whole entire organization of P600s. So I can do that like that Man-nyy doing that Chairman 100. So can we give it up for Man-nyy as well? Okay. So those right there are the 6 steps. Number 1 was number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. And then number 6. All right, so it's 2:01. We'll give you guys till 2:05-ish to write it down.